Set2 here. He's been honing his skills for a while, coming out here in round number 4. But we do have a big matchup here. Maru versus Flash.
Maru 5-1 versus Terran, 8-4 versus Flash. Maru said in a lot of interviews he still thinks Flash is better than him. He thinks he's an overall great player. He really respects him, and he has a lot to learn from Flash. He said that a lot, but Maru being pretty cheeky these days.
Yeah,
I don't know if he feels that way anymore.
He's pretty cheeky. Even in the chat, he's like, oh, I just wish it wasn't a Terran versus Terran, even though it's one of his strongest matchups. I don't know, man.
It's very rare to see Flash smile like this, to be totally honest. He's 2-5 versus Terran, but his TVT versus Innovation in the GSL, was pretty impressive. He held his own. And I have to say, this could go either way. And Maru is looking really shaky in general these days, losing almost every game he's played. That's why he has that downwards arrow.
Yeah. Flash, he's got a great opportunity to take down one of these very strong Terran players and prove to everyone that he is not the 10-13 record that he's garnered so far.
Got that 10 wins, though. He's gotten it every single round of both seasons of Pro League.
That he has. Guys, the map for this game number 2 is going to be Coda. Let's jump into it right now between Maru and Flash. Down here in the bottom right, in the red, for the JIN Green Wings, it is Maru.
And up here the top left, in blue, for KT, it's Flash. TVT, we already saw one earlier today between Gumiho and Innovation.
Innovation gave him a bit of a beating, a spanking even.
Yeah, it was very
one-sided. Wanted it. He was running right into it. He's like, give it to me, Innovation.
Yeah.
Then Innovation.
Paddled him, man.
Yeah.
Paddled him with those siege tanks. Tell him he was a bad boy for not getting air control.
He definitely was a bad boy.
About to get punished.
Well,
so let's see what happens in this game. I would expect to see gas first from both players.
Who did you vote for here? We didn't actually get to take our predictions, so I kind of forget.
I voted for Maru, but it was a tougher one for me.
Me and you actually had the same predictions outside of the Blaze game.
Yep.
So
that was our variation. And I had one off of Moonglade as well, but a different game. I'm trying to remember which one.
Really? I thought...
Actually, maybe we had the,
I think we all had the same, just that one game. But regardless, we're going to see Maru going for the gas first here.
Moonglade did vote for Innovation on that ace match. That was different.
Ah, right.
He was right and I was wrong.
Wrong.
Well, we're going to see the 13 gas. Oh,
no,
this
player's going gas first.
Okay, no, gas first, yeah.
Flash just a little bit quicker on that.
I was thinking about predictions, missed that one.
Yeah.
But let's see if a Reaper comes out. Flash loves his Reapers. Like Gumiho, as long as even after a gas first, just likes to go Reaper anyways to get that scouting information. On a 2-player map, you're going to get there no matter what and find out what your opponent's doing. It's like, it costs you 50 gas, but it's a 100% guaranteed scout. There's no way in TVT to deny it. It's just simply impossible. Even if you went like 10 racks after a depot and try to rush the Marines out, the Reaper would still get in the base. Like, you just can't stop it.
Well, there's the Reaper out of Flash, and probably going to follow that up with a Factory. Pretty quick here. He's got a lot of gas. There it is. Maru getting his just a little bit quicker, but going for those Marines.
Yep. Basically, when you do this, opening the one that Maru is doing, you know that there's a high chance you're going to get scouted, but you're okay with it because the build is so common, and there's no direct counter to it. If the Reaper comes in delayed and sees you're researching Cloak or something like that, that's another problem entirely. But, you know, if he comes in and sees you're going gas first, it's not like you're like, oh, it's ruined. He knows I'm going gas first. He's actually going to position his Reapers, or rather his Marines, for anti-Reaper jump. And let's see how quickly the reaction here is for Flash.
Well, Flash is not even going there. Predicting this right from the get-go, and he should be able to get a full scout.
He might even get a kill on that Starport SCV. Oh, he's going really slow on this, expecting maybe one Marine. Let's see if he can kill this Starport SCV.
He's going to want to see the gas first, I think. And that he does, and now he comes back and just going to keep it alive.
Okay.
But he sees the gas. A great scout here sees everything that Maru's doing, knows the exact build. Loses it there, though. Sticking out his tongue, a bit of a mistake.
I think we're going to see a Raven coming out here from Maru. Bet pretty big money after being scouted like that. Usually the common response.
I mean, he could. It's the new thing here, but Maru's the Banshee master, man.
And he is going for the Banshee. You know, it's so strange, by the way. I'm a bit sad that the Pro League colors was never like fully enforced. It's so strange to me to see Maru in red.
It happens sometimes. Like, you'll notice the first game, they were probably like, okay, you're green, you're the generic green wings, KT is red, but now it's just like Flash is blue. That doesn't make any sense.
The matchup I noticed it in the most, and of course it's all mirror matchups where you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But, oh well. No green pride here.
Yeah. Maru, of course, I think Flash knows this 100%. He's like, okay, I know you're going to go Banshees anyway. I scouted the gas timing, scouted your build, and he's going to go super anti-Banshee here, which is kind of what Gumiho did in the last game, but Innovation just went for the Raven. But Maru, not that kind of TVTer.
He's just not that kind of Terran. He's not that kind of guy.
Not that kind of player.
He's like, safety, nah. He's like, have you seen me kill a Colossus with only Marauders? No Vikings required.
Well, Flash does have this Viking, and he even has a Widowmine out there. He's covering all the wrong places, though, because Maru's going straight for that natural. There's going to be a turret there, and a Raven is coming out, but Maru always finds the damage. Yeah,
he's going to probably get at least 6 kills here, I'd say, just because his turret's slightly too high, slightly too up to the north.
Oh, loses a mule. But nice micro so far at a Flash. He's pulling it over towards that right side of the mineral line. Only going to get 2 kills here, and now trying to focus down a tech lab. I don't think that's going to be able to go down. Now that the Raven pops, just going to have to pull out of here.
See if my 6 kills is on the money. Oh, ooh. Well, the mule kill doesn't really count. It's just, that's about how many kills you're going to get in a situation like this, because your opponent has very carefully countered it. That's why a player like Innovation just goes Raven after he's scouted, because, you know, it makes the turret and Viking investment such a waste if you just do that.
Yeah, and the Raven's always going to be useful throughout the entire game, as we saw in that last game. Was the perfect example. Maru does go for his own Raven after 2 Banshees.
You know, it used to be until very recently that the Raven and Cloak would cost the same in gas. Now the Banshee is slightly, or you know, the Cloak is slightly cheaper. It's a good tech to have throughout the late game as well if the game's going to go that far. And if you're Maru, you're probably expecting that you can bring it to a late game versus Flash. This is going to be weird when a Widowmine hits a Widowmine. Whoa.
That's what happens. One of them goes down. They got the jump on him. Or the burrow.
It's funny, it's possible for 2 Widowmines to both die if they're both burrowed and the scan happens within that same time period. It's happened before, actually.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, Blue Flame here very quickly for Flash. And with the
he's
Hellion commitment, I think he's going to really try to do some sick Hellbat drops. Perhaps even Hellion drops before that.
Yeah, or maybe even just run up the front. There's 1 tank there, but only 1 tank so far. Gonna get a scan here. There's 1 tank in the main at the same time. Stin coming down here from Maru.
Yeah.
And the scan is going to see it.
That's interesting. He has right now just 8 Marines, but he's got time to add extra barracks. Definitely not a fake. Very real. 2 eBays to join.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. One of the things we were pointing out that may have led to Maru's decline was his possible wrist and shoulder issues. And going bio versus mech is generally not the easiest thing to do when you have injuries. But he's going to power through it. He's going to try to make it work.
Yeah. With this Raven Viking comp, he wants to shut down those Hellion drops pretty hard. Any sort of drop he may encounter, but of course Hellion's going to be the choice here. That Marine just walks right in and sees this dropship coming across, so he's going to position himself accordingly.
The Marine just walks up the natural ramp also.
Yeah.
Didn't get that on...
It's that confidence, man. You can get by any security guard. Make it look like you work there.
Is this a miss rally or a fake drop?
It's a miss rally.
I mean, he's going to boost away. So...
I think it was he just reset his rally in the main. I think it was just a miss rally. That's a bit weird.
It was funny because he flew right over his Hellions in the middle of the map. which I think he was trying to drop, but regardless, we do have Flash taking our third base here. Maru got a very early third command center. Hasn't flown it out yet. He is now floating that out.
Well, a group of Vikings and the Raven over here. Not in the right spot this time for the little harass, but, you know, these Hellions aren't going to kill those CC. Okay, this time it's an intentional fake for sure.
Yeah, I think he's distracting for the big SCV pull.
Yeah, he wants the transfer here, but there's only a few, but he can get these Marines, and that would be a great pickoff. And now can get some SCVs as well, get some Marines and SCVs. A great exchange there. Doesn't even lose a single Hellion.
Yeah, nicely done. Cute little harass by Flash. And another scan going to go down.
Flash already taking a massive lead in this game in supply, and he's now got a secured third base as well. So the bio army, since it's so small, especially after losing those Marines, is going to be hard-pressed to find damage. He needs to find something. Now, Flash has also been massing his own air. You know, he's actually one Viking ahead right now, has his own Raven. So it's not like the air units that Maru has is going to allow his Banshees to do much. If I say Banshees, I should say Banshee, because he only has one.
Yeah, very true. But we've seen it before. If Maru can somehow take the advantage in the air, that one Banshee can do a number on a meching Terran, for sure.
Yeah. Sensor Tower here going to make this move a lot tougher.
He's skirting around the edge, but some of those units are being spotted.
He's going to do a Viking drop, I think. Well, you know, he's actually considering it.
I think he sees something. He's coming in here. He sees the fact that that missile turret is not yet done. And now he can just get into a nice position.
Secret missile potential is here as well. It looks like he's going to drop auto turrets, or rather PDDs instead. And this is a better Viking count for Flash, as I said before. I mean, this is basic. Problem is he never actually scanned the Vikings, so he didn't know where they were. He just assumed, well, I'm massing. He's probably not. He was wrong. And it's going to cost him a Raven here.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate there. Once again, Maru just kind of assuming, as you said. Not taking the best fight here. At least he did back up and didn't just force it and lose a bunch of stuff. They're going to go all the way back home, back to his bio. Even going to land the Vikings here.
Extra safety. That way he doesn't have to bring all his Marines home. He did anyways, but...
Yeah. I want to point out also, while he was going for that, not paying attention back at home, he got his 1-1 about 30 seconds ago, but the armory's only started just a couple seconds ago. So that 2-2 is not going to come in right straight away here for Maru.
Yeah, whereas Flash is already getting +2 and adding additional starports. I think we're going to see him actually potentially add some Banshees into the mix. Perhaps even if he gets a fourth base coming up here in the late game, maybe some BCs. Probably Banshees first, of course. He doesn't have that big of a bank yet. He doesn't have a fourth.
Yeah. Notice that Flash continuously scanning the main and scanning for the army, whereas Maru is scanning for the army. A nice scan on those starports would give Maru the necessary information to not get caught out by an air switch. But it looks like he's just going to try to put on the pressure once again. After scanning the army twice, I think he sees an advantage. Yeah,
he sees the fact that there's so much air here that the ground army is somewhat weakened. But still, because this is a meching Flash, he has enough tanks, if they're sieged up in position, that he will beat this bio no matter what, especially if they try to go down this choke point around the CC. Oh, he's going to try to find an angle here. Oh, not able to.
Yeah, a lot of Marines on the ground. Got to be careful about how far away you get from your tanks with your Vikings.
There is one PDD available on this Raven, which is going to, of course, help out for not only the Vikings, but also the Marauders on the ground. I would not be surprised to see more Ravens added. He is going into those Banshees I mentioned first, though. Oh, man, this is not a good engagement to take from Maru. Is he just going to try for this? I think this is a mistake.
He's sieging up. He's not going to just stim in and die, which I thought he was going to do, which we've seen from time to time.
Well, initially when I saw this Vikings land, I was like, oh, God, but it's actually him just trying to protect them.
Yeah.
But this is going to cost him a lot of siege tanks because the Banshees now are out, and they have +2 in just a second.
Yep, this is the first time he's seeing it, and now if you lift, well... Flash not really taking advantage of that. Could have possibly jumped on those Vikings.
I think he's scared about the Marines. They're just right out of vision of his sensor tower. This is a good move. I like a big drop right now. If he can avoid the Vikings, keep scanning. But the Vikings are looking for this. Flash is playing this so smart. Really like his play here.
Maru trying to play the positioning game with his bio. Find a way in. Find a chink in the armor of the mech, but... having a lot of trouble doing so. Maru really just has not found much damage here.
He is going to hit 2-2 in just a minute, which will put him ahead of the mech upgrades, but you can almost say a 1-1 mech army is like a 2-2 bio army. So,
and at the same time, he's getting mech upgrades and is going to eventually transition to that tier as we go later in this TBT.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want a lot more siege tanks. And his air army, as long as he doesn't lose it, is only a little bit behind Flash's. Flash getting Corvid Reactor, showing he wants to switch maybe into more Ravens. Okay, we're going to see an engagement here.
Oh, he's
PDD's
dropping
going down.
in onto those tanks, and the Viking Fire is not hitting those medevacs.
Yeah, and a lot of bio here. A lot of Marauders doing damage, but it's still not enough. Not even close.
Oh, and he's trying to focus down this planetary, but he's just not going to be able to. Maru taking a very disadvantageous fight there.
And that's
Once
going to be
again, just trying to force it.
That's going to be game. There's probably the GG scan. He wants to see how many reinforcements.
Yeah, I think he's trying to figure out how exactly he's going to defend against this, but he's lost everything in the air. There's bouncy transition that Maru did not scout, he did not prepare for, and now he's just got to somehow get detection here with his missile turrets and a bunch of scans to deal with these Banshees.
Oh, with those spam scans he just threw down there, I don't think he's going to have enough. I don't even know why he continues to scan. I think he's just frustrated. He's going to type out, but don't want to waste all your scans right here for no reason if you don't have the anti-air to deal with these. He starts 3-3. Maybe he is going to stay in this game a little bit longer, but it's just not going to work out for him.
He'll try, but that planetary definitely going to go down. And the SCV transfer, the Hellbats looking for blood, looking for machine parts.
I just don't agree with those scans if he's going to be staying in this game. It's like he's constantly trying to see did the army stay here or not, but he's really going to need those. For his Thors here. If he doesn't have those, he's going to have a big problem because he doesn't have any Ravens. He has no Ravens. He just keeps scanning. And the Thors are getting zoned now by the siege tanks. And oh god, he's going to siege up here, but such a good position for Flash.
Yeah, very nice position with his tanks. Those Thors not quite dealing with the air. And I think that's going to be it. Flash taking a gigantic lead in this game.
Yeah. This game's been over. I think Maru's just frustrated.
It's frustrating times for Maru and his fans. Just cannot seem to find that momentum in any of his games that he's playing recently.
JIN Air just feels so deflated. I don't even know what else to describe it as. This team still has a solid lineup of players that are doing decently in individual leagues, but when you look at their lineup, they're just not delivering.
Oh, bunching up those Vikings. One good Thor shot. The other one running to his death. Going to try to do a bit of micro here, but that's a lot of Vikings. GG.
Flash takes it, man. I was saying this earlier, there were a lot of haters, a lot of people on Twitter saying there's no way Flash takes it. This game is not hype. Like, are you serious? Look at Maru's results. Look at Flash's recent results. How well he's playing in some of these games. He's, stayed in Coda. He's looking solid versus Innovations, Mech and TBT. And Maru's playing Bio, which is weird and uncharacteristic and also perhaps bad for his wrist, which is my personal theory as to why he's having so much trouble recently. I think it's starting to really overwhelm him.
Yeah. You were talking about the deflation of the JIN Air team. I'm just looking down at their huddle right now, not looking too happy. The coach's got his hands on his hips, not happy with his ace player right now.
And the JIN Air coach is actually the most emotional coach we've ever had in Pro League. You actually saw him, cry when they made it to the grand playoffs last season. And it's just, he's going through a tough time. I see the JIN Air teams always having these little meetings after the game where they all talk about what went wrong, what can we do in the future. They're a team that's trying really hard, but the results are just not there. It's an uncharacteristically bad round for JIN Air, and they need to try to solidify their position. They need a playoff finish, but if they lose this match, they cannot get it. Whoever loses this match will not be going to the playoffs.
Yeah, and they got to rely on Pure here, a guy who is also having a pretty weak round of 3, round of 4. Just these days, not quite the player that we're used to. But guys, first we're going to take a 3-minute break. We'll be right back.